Hey guys, it's Sid Frank, and I'm actually going to switch it up a little bit today. And I want to play one of my other favorite games, which is Sid Meier's Colonization. Now, uh, Colonization is very, very different from Civilization in many ways, and I'm going to be showing some of the differences in how you actually approach playing this game. I'm gonna make a quick tutorial video. I'm gonna play maybe 20 or so turns, show you what I'm doing, and we'll just get right into it. So I'm gonna actually customize my world. I like to have large land masses, and I'll keep these the same. I'll choose moderate difficulty level. Now, you do have 4 different civilizations here that are catered towards different things. You have the English, the French, Spanish, and normally the Dutch, but I actually edited the game files to switch it to Portugal because I think they had a more impact in the New World. But anyway, it's no different from the Dutch if you were to get this game. For now, I'm going to keep it simple, but there are different powers associated with each, and maybe I'll make a video on that. Okay, enter my name. I'm going to just call myself Frank. So yeah, when you start the game, you get a quick intro on your civilization. So religious strife, Puritans, right? A lot of immigrants coming from Great Britain to the New World, which kind of mimics what happened in real life. So essentially what we're getting with playing with England is we get more immigrants, and population is actually really important because it's how you extract from the land, it's how you get military, it's how you do pretty much everything, which I'll show pretty soon. And just like it says, only 2/3 the normal number of crosses required to generate immigrants. I'll explain what crosses is shortly. And these are nice, but I'm actually gonna skip through these playthroughs because they're always the same. They're really nice videos. I would recommend you look at them in your free time. But let's just get right into it. So the first thing you want to do when you play the game is actually go to game options. I don't like seeing other people's moves. I like fast-paced slide. I want the choice to end my turns instead of it ending automatically. I'm gonna have the autosave on because you never know. I don't care about combat analysis because that doesn't change anything. And yeah, we're good to go. So when you start a game of civilization, I mean colonization, you start with a caravel, unless you are the Dutch, but we'll worry about that later. You start with a military unit, like a Minuteman, and you start with some sort of settler that has tools that can improve the land. And colonization's basically, we're going to go find a good land to settle, and once we find that, we'll build a city, and that's basically what we're going to do. So I'm going to actually start moving with this caravel, and we're starting to see some land. That's a good sign. I discovered a new world. How great. Okay, we're going to name this Nova Scotia. Okay, and it looks like it will be able to settle on the first turn onto land. Now, before I end this turn, I'm going to drop one of my settlers here. But you'll notice on this tile here, we actually have, the Tupi, and we have some natives in the area. So a very important aspect of colonization is your relationship with the natives. It is complicated. I don't want to get into the weeds of it right now, but right now what I'm seeing is we have a spot with some minerals, so that's good for getting kind of metals. We have a lot of forests that we can cut down for agriculture. Overall, it's a pretty decent spot here. I'm gonna land one of my pioneers and you'll see we met the natives. Alright, Tupi tribe welcomes you. We are a glorious nation. 9 camps. Generously offer land you occupy as a gift. Will you accept our treaty and live in peace as brothers? Now, it's generally a good idea when you start, just accept the peace, because they will be able to destroy you. Okay, you do not have a military to start attacking natives right now. Okay, yeah. So peace, yeah, and hope you will soon visit Tupi villages to share knowledge and send wagon trains. So I'll get to, once we get to the city screen, I'll be able to explain this a little bit more. But trade is so important in this game, in many ways, because you have trade with the natives, but you also have trade with Europe, which I'll talk about that later. Now, just looking at the area around me, it seems like this is Tupi land, but everything else seems to belong to us, which is good. So I could probably settle here and have a good hill here for gathering metals. So first I want to find out where this Tupi village is. Oh, it's not that far. And I just want to explore the coastline, get a little bit more information on what we're doing. I'll settle right on the spot. Let's go with Jonestown. Building a colony. Okay. Alright, so a little bit different from civilization in terms of what cities are like and what's going on. So let me get down into the weeds and kind of explain what's happening here. So unlike normal civilization, where you have the big fat cross that you can gather from, in colonization you can only gather immediately from what's surrounding your city. Okay, so if I want, I can actually drag and drop, move this settler in other places. And then you'll notice that I'm gathering some silver here, but you can change the profession of your settler by basically clicking on them, and you can select a different profession. Now, different professions provide different resources, and all of them are more or less going to be important in a way. I'll talk about some of the resources that matter here, but for now, I kind of want to send it to the town hall to get some liberty points, which kind of functions like research when you're talking about comparing to civilization. Now, there is a few types of resources, and I like to separate them between, we have cash crops, we have food, we have lumber, and then we have metals and silver, horses, and then you have, from your cash crops, you have basically manufactured goods like rum, cigars, cloth, coats. Then you have trade goods. So trade goods is a very specific good that you can only acquire from Europe, and generally that's what you use to trade with natives. They really like trade goods. Then finally you have tools, which can be manufactured from ore, and then muskets that can be manufactured from tools. For lumber, it works a little bit differently here. So let's say I want to build a building. Well, in order for me to do that, I actually have to press this hammer. And it says right now I'm building docks. However, the problem is I have no lumber, and if we look, we need essentially 52 hammers, which is different than tools. So what happens is, if I want to build a building, I'm going to need to have the required amount of lumber, and then I set one of my settlers to be a carpenter to generate hammers per turn, and then that's how I'm going to be able to build buildings. But I'm going to move this guy back to the town hall. Horses, they grow on your own as long as you have food, and they can be used to make scouts, as well as to arm settlers with dragoons if they also are carrying muskets. We'll talk about scouting later on. And then for food, it's self-explanatory. You need food to grow your colonies, and if you're colonies basically have zero food, they'll end up starving. So you need to make sure you have food in your colonies. So generally how this game works is you start off by getting cash crops, and what you want to do is make money trading with Europe and the natives so that you can develop your industrial base, right? You want to be able to make tools, make muskets, make horses, because that's what's going to win you the War of Independence. Uh, Now, I've talked a little bit too much, but right now I'm sending my colonist for the town hall to get Liberty Bells because I want to basically see if I can get a counselor to get a bonus and see if that bonus helps me. Alright, I've done my place, so I'm just going to end my turn. And you might be asking, why am I getting Liberty Bells? And it's because of this Continental Congress, right? So instead of technologies, you have these founding fathers, and each one has a different bonus, right? So I could go through each 5, but let's go for example Peter Minuit. So what he does is, once Peter Minuit joins the Continental Congress, Indians no longer demand payment for their land. So if you settle a colony and it's near natives and they designate their land as theirs, you can't just work it. You either need to buy it or you go to war for it. So this basically prevents that from happening. Now, if I remember, William Penn, cross production, Paul Revere, not very useful. Henry Hudson increases fur trappers by 100%. Pocahontas reduces Indian alarm, which I'll explain later. For now, I actually want to go with William Penn. And the reason for that is I want to see how far I can maximize the British power of immigration, right? So if I can develop Jonestown into a high population city, build a church in there, and have some colonists be priests, I can actually expand my population from immigration a lot more. Alright, I'm going to just keep exploring. Here's another Tupi colony. And looks like we have sort of an island here. Now, the question people always ask is, should I have both my colonists in the same town, or should I build 2 towns? And my opinion is 2 towns is always going to be better, just because you have 2 villagers or 2 colonists right away working the land. So I'll do that. So just exploring for good spots, right? So this river here is actually really good, but the problem is it's all Tupi land. So it's unfortunate. No, I'm gonna have this guy move here, and we'll have to see which one of these becomes Tupi land. Now, I want to do some trading. I'll show this trading mechanism pretty quickly. So when you enter a native village for the first time, it does enable you to trade with them. We don't have anything to trade with them right now, but it says we would like horses and cigars, and perhaps you'll bring some next time, and they would even like muskets. So I don't want to give them horses or muskets because I don't want to give them the means to wage war on me. I haven't decided yet what my relation with them is. But when you're playing this game, you should probably be taking a note of the different villages and what they want so that you know who to trade with. It can be a little bit micromanaging in a sense. But yeah, we have no trade goods, so we can't trade with them right now. What I want to know actually is this all Tupi land? Yeah. See, the issue is, like, the natives often have the best spots. So at some point you need to ask yourself, am I going to go to war with them over land? Or can I delay that for the time being because I don't have the means to declare war? So I'm gonna just go further here and see if I can, because I don't want to get into fights right away. There's no point. I do like this river though, so I might actually settle here. It's not bad, but obviously I am a little bit close to that native town. All right, let's see here. Yeah, so I'll settle Plymouth, and looks like I made a bad choice because basically, if you see these totem poles, that basically says that this is native territory. So if I move a settler here, they're saying you're trespassing 2P land. We patiently ask that you leave immediately. You can either respect them, pay for their land, or say this is our land. We're gonna respect their wishes for now. I just want Liberty Bells, and actually, we can disband at any time this town, and it'll be no issue. Alright, so this caravel, what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to go to Jonestown, because what you'll notice is on the tile that we start off with, we're getting 2 food and 2 furs. So I want to see if I can make a little bit of money by selling the furs to Europe. So that's what I'll do. Alright, so Jonestown is up 10%, Sons of Liberty membership. So basically, Sons of Liberty is this thing here. Before you can declare independence, people need to want to declare independence, right? So another mechanic that's hard to explain, but it's not an issue. Just playing the game here. Alright, put my furs here. 2P tribe, pleased to see progress of your towns. We come to offer you 9 furs in recognition. Okay, great. And we got our first Continental person here. So yeah, cross production increased by 50%. So that should increase the amount of immigrants that are coming, and we're gonna need a lot of immigrants if we want to settle these lands, right? So I'm gonna put the furs here, and looking at this land, I'm noticing that we have hills which are actually really good for ore. So I want to start getting some cash crops here. So I'm going to start mining some ore here. This seems to be the best spot, the one with the minerals. And I'm going to send this ship to Europe. Now, it's going to ask me for the next Continental Congress person, but I want to develop my towns, so I'm going to gather lumber here. And 15 furs, so yeah, seem to be giving a lot of furs. Now, we have Continental Congress. Again, a lot of options. I'm going to go with William Brewster because it prevents criminals or servants appearing on the docks. So how the immigration system works is you gather the resource known as crosses, and when you have enough, an immigrant will spawn at the docks ready to be picked up to go to the New World. But some settlers are better than others because some settlers are more specialized towards gathering certain resources. The problem with criminals or servants is they may be good at working the land, but they basically can't do anything else. And they also can't be trained by natives on how to be someone, a specialist in gathering some of the New World resources, right? So if I can prevent criminals or servants appearing on the docks, it'll actually ensure that I get better quality immigrants, right? So I'm gonna go with William Brewster. And my turn. Seems I'm getting a lot of furs here. Oh, and there's another tribe here offering 6 tobacco. Now, you might be asking, what should I do here? What should I build? Right? Is there any cash crops I can work? Well, for here, I think this would be a great mining town, right? So I want to get maybe a blacksmith up here, start making my own tools so I'm independent from Europe. As for here, we do have a rainforest, and we have some land here which in the future can be useful for well, rainforests are generally good because they can become savannas, so they can be used to get sugar and make rum, right? So it's kind of where my head's at. All right, cargo from the New World. So again, we sent our caravel back to London, and we're gonna sell the furs, and we made 115 coin. It's actually not that much, unfortunately, but we do have a preacher. Now, firebrand preachers, they're okay. I think what they do is they increase your cross production, but I can't really use them yet because I don't have a church in any of my colonies, and I won't be able to for the time being. But I'm just gonna pick them up, send them to Nova Scotia. Spies report: Arawak's burn Portuguese colony at Fortaleza. Portuguese governor vows revenge. So you're not the only European colonist here. You have the other three colonists as well, and each one of them can have their own policy when dealing with the natives, right? Looks like we're pretty friendly with the natives. They're giving us stuff, so we should be pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send this preacher to Jonestown, and what I want to do is I want to improve this land, because this land right now is not improved. It's basically unworked. I want to plow it. I want to build roads. I want to do all that nice stuff. So how do I do it? So to do it, what you're going to do is essentially equip a settler with tools. So if you click on a settler, it gives you a whole bunch of these, right? But it also gives you the option, if you click more, to give them a profession outside the colony. So you can be, just a colonist, so they leave the colony, can go start their own colony or whatever. They can become a pioneer to improve the land. You can give them muskets to be soldiers, horses to be scouts, or both to be dragoons, which are essentially good soldiers, right? So I'm going to make them a pioneer. And yeah, I'm going to have this caravel. Essentially, I want them to gather the minerals and furs from Jonestown. Hook left, get the hides from Plymouth, and then head back, get some more money. Expert lumberjacks, perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. But anyway, so my pioneer is now outside the town. The preacher that went in the town is now the one gathering minerals. So what you can do is actually clear the forest for Jonestown, and what that will enable is it'll increase the amount of food I'm producing here, so that I can support 2 colonists in the same colony, but they don't have to focus on gathering food, because there's no point if they're just gathering food, they're just sustaining themselves, right? I want more than just to sustain. I want to get cash crops. I want to get minerals. I want to get all that nice stuff, right? They even offered us sugar now. But I'm still going to do the same thing. See here. Get the remaining furs. Go to Plymouth. Tobacco, furs. We're getting a lot of good stuff here that we can sell to the New World, eh? Alright, so my caravel is at Plymouth, and I'm gonna take the furs, go back to the old world, sell it, see what I can get. 40 lumber. How much do I need? I need 52 lumber to build a dock here. But do I really want a dock? Not necessarily, but a warehouse would be nice. But I'll explain kind of why that is later. A lot of good stuff. Seems our relation with the natives is really good, which can be really helpful. Alright, so we cleared the land in Jonestown, and you'll notice we used to be getting furs, but now we're actually getting cotton, and we increased the amount of food we're making by 1. Oh, and you're supposed to be getting ores here. Now, I'm curious, this scrub forest here, is this good for cotton? Nah. See, it's really the broadleaf forest that you use for cotton, so I might not be able to make good use of that. Okay, so now that I've cleared the land, I actually want to plow the fields. And what that will do is it'll increase the amount of food by 1 so that I can have two colonists in the same town. Because each colonist costs 2 food to maintain, right? So if both of them are in the town and no one's gathering food, the colony will starve. Spanish burn Tupi camp, natives fleeing panic. Okay, so here's the thing. When you're thinking about diplomacy, you need to figure out what other European nations are doing. And depending on that, you can actually ally yourself with a native nation, give them weapons, and then they'll take care of the other Europeans for you. You don't gotta do the fighting yourself. Alright, I'm gonna sell some of that stuff. And I have 360 coin. So there's two ways I can do this, right? Like, we have some good land that the Tupi has. I could actually buy it with that amount of gold. Or I can equip this lumberjack with a horse, and then maybe get some more tools, right? So maybe 40 more tools, and then send them to Nova Scotia. And I'm just ending my turn. Yeah, so I'm going to send this lumberjack to this colony. I'm going to drop off the tools, see if I can improve the land here, and then once that's improved, then I'll send one of the colonists out here to scout. And the scouting mechanism is actually pretty nice in this game, but yeah, I'll so yeah, you're good. I'm gonna actually have the lumberjack gather lumber because that makes more sense. I'm going to drop the tools off here. Sorry, you do this. And then what I want you to do is grab the tools and start plowing this land. And then we're gonna pick up the sugar from here because that's gonna net us a pretty penny in Europe. Here, what I want to do is not gather lumber because I can actually just get the lumber from that other town to go here so I can start building stuff. But what I can do is put more ore here, right? I need some money. I need a cash injection, right? So yeah, I'm happy with this. Oh, we got seasoned scouts, which is actually what I was looking for. But yeah, we'll do this. I'm gonna take 40 lumber, and I'll have them go to Jonestown first before going to the New World. You are gonna clear the forest here. Carry on. Okay. Drop off the lumber and pick up the ores and see how much more sugar you can pick up. So we should be getting some good money this run. Alright, yeah, pick up more of that. And back to London. The music in this game is amazing too. Very catchy. 15 furs, da da da. Alright, da da da. Okay, arrived in London, let's sell. And look at that, we have almost 700 gold. What I want to do with that gold is actually train some ore miners. And the reason I want to train that is because I want to get specialization right away, right? If I have an ore miner working in a town, it's more efficient than if I just have normal people here. Kind of like how, if you notice my lumberjack, gathering 8 lumber per turn. Now, I think I have the lumber I need for this time, so I'm going to build a warehouse, send him to the carpenter's shop to start working on that warehouse. And I'm just about to finish the game here, but I really do want to show you guys some other mechanics of the game so that we get more informed on how to play the game. Okay, we cleared the land here, and I'll take these. So these ore miners, they're specialized at gathering ore. So if I put this firebrand preacher, in the town hall, and I send this ore miner here, it gathers 8 ore compared to the 4 ore that the firebrand preacher gets. So it's double the amount. So where you can, it's always a good idea to make sure that you're appropriately designating your colonists to maximize your resource output. Now, this preacher, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this guy out as a pioneer, and I'm going to keep the preacher here. And this will just be an ore colony for a little bit, and I want to get some more land, right? Land is going to be very important. Okay, let's go in, and I want you to now plow the fields. I want this to be self-sufficient. I'm going to move my scout into this Tupi tribe, ask to speak to the chief. So when you're the first person to ever scout a native tribe, you get a little bit of a bonus, and you also get information on what they specialize. So here, this Tupi tribe is really good at sugar planting. So if I send a civilian or a colonist to their tribe, they will teach that colonist how to be a master sugar planter. So good to keep in the back of your head, and you're going to want to do that because the only way to get specialists for cash crops in the New World is to send your colonists to live with the tribe's people. Okay, they really want horses, and they'll pay well for rum or cigars. Good to know. And the bonus that we're getting from this tribe is that they'll tell us tales of nearby lands. So essentially, we get a bit of scouting so that we know what's around us. So yeah, I want to keep going on with this game. And yeah, I'm going to start selling this stuff back. And I'm going to have this settler move to the river, because rivers are really good. I'll show that later on. But I think we've already kind of went above and beyond explaining some of the basics, but this is the last concept I want to demonstrate, is that the reason you're going to eventually want to declare independence is because you'll notice that we were trading with Europe and getting the value of the sale, all of it, right? But every once in a while, the king will start imposing taxes on you. So right now they have a war with Portugal, decide to raise your tax by 2%. Tax rate is now 2%. So essentially, if I sell 100 gold worth of goods, I'm getting 98 gold. And at some point in the game, that tax will be a 50% tax, right? So you can always do two things when the king proposes a new tax. You can either kiss the pinky ring, which is accepting the tax, or you can hold kind of a boycott of a good, right? Now that good is randomly chosen. So right now, if I hold a Jonestown food party, that prevents me from buying or selling food in Europe. Now, food doesn't really matter. I can always get food from the New World. So I'm actually going to reject this tax and hold that. So Sons of Liberty throw 19 tons of food at Jonestown. Colonists refuse to pay new tax. So right now, because I did that, we're not gonna pay that 2% tax. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to do this, and I'm gonna go back to London. Okay, and I'm gonna conclude the video here, and I hope to just continue on this series and explain more concepts in depth. Like, I didn't even get to the combat system yet, but yeah, this is good for a first video, and thank you for tuning in.